Alright, so you look outside, you see the sun. It starts to go down, and then it goes down, and then it eventually will just kind of disappear, right? And so I think without having any kind of technology or any kind of access to this, you would see, because you look up at the sun at any point in the time of the day, you look up at, around noon, it's going to be really high in the sky. You look later in the day, it'll be low. So if you're just looking at the sun, you're going to say, hey, yeah, the sun appears to be moving throughout the sky. And so that was a pretty popular belief that things back in the day, things just rotated around the earth. And you might say, well, why is that a big deal? Right? Because that's actually what was being taught. And it was being taught by mainly the Catholic Church at the time. Now, there's going to be some things that we have to talk about. If you haven't done the Before the Scientific Revolution notes, the Catholic Church is a very powerful institution, very powerful, very corrupt. Right, so they have a lot of influence. So they're the ones that are perpetuating this, and so if they get found out that it's wrong, then that's going to be a problem. All right, so we have no way to see, they had no way to see the natural world. They had no technology, so everything, they just used their personal observations. There's going to be some technology developed, mainly the telescope, that's going to help that. Scientific revolution. Once again, you're going to hear this word a lot coming up with the American Revolution, the Industrial Revolution, the Agricultural Revolution. What is a revolution? It's really just a radical change, right? It's in this case, it's going to be just a new way of looking at the natural world or society. Industrial Revolution. Well, we radically changed the way we work. Agricultural Revolution. Well, we radically changed the way we farm. Scientific Revolution is going to be where we radically change the way we look at science, right? They'll radically change the way we do things. And so for a long time, basically what happened, there was not a lot of change happened for a long time. People accepted these ancient philosophers, Ptolemy, Archimedes, Plato, Aristotle, these people that came up with these ideas, these thinkers at the time that had been gone for hundreds and thousands of years. These people were, that had said that, hey, this is how the world works. This is how things work, and it was just always accepted. Like, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, sure, let's accept it. All right, and then all of a sudden, new technology, new discoveries are going to be made that is going to help change that. All right, there's going to be new technology, telescope, microscope, the printing press. You might say, what's a printing press? What the heck's that have to do? That's going to be a huge one. That's going to help to spread the ideas. So they're going to catch like wildfire. A lot of people are going to have access now. Because, before, when books aren't widely available, a lot of people didn't know how to read. It wasn't that big of a deal. And so all these new discoveries are going to come about, and people are going to start to change the way they view things. All right, they're going to make a radical change in the way our natural world is viewed in society. All right, so once again, relied on the old view, the old way of thinking. They relied on traditional authorities. Beliefs were about the structure of the universe. Aristotle developed a geocentric. Now that's a fancy word. Geo, I believe it's Latin for earth. You think of geology. Geology is the study of earth. All right, so geocentric, so geo, earth, centric, centered, a geocentric model. The earth is the center of the universe. And the church found passages of the Bible, and they said, yeah, we agree with that as well. And so that was the widely held belief during that time. All right, and then these scholars, they're going to start to challenge these traditional and ancient authorities that have said these things. All right, they're going to start to challenge the way everything that they had once said, and they're going to try to prove or disprove if it's true or not. They just want to try to find the truth, and so they're going to use new technology. They're going to use new mathematics to help them in this process. All right. Once again, geocentric model. It was accepted by the church. I can't stress how important that is to understand that. All right, so that everything was just kind of revolved around the earth. All right, and this ended up becoming called the Ptolemaic system. Yeah, you say Ptolemaic. It starts with a P. Yeah, it's weird. Ptolemaic. It's just Ptolemaic. All right, so don't say the P. Ptolemy expanded on this theory. He said that the earth is the dead center. That once again, they supported this because the humans make themselves sound like they're important. Humans are at the center. God created us. We're important. Everything revolves around us. All right, heavily supported by the church, all right, because we feel special. And honestly, it's not that crazy. You look up in the sky, stars are in different spots, the moon's in different spots, the sun's in different spots. It looks like, from our perspective, that things move around us, all right? But we're going to use the new mathematics, the new technology, to help disprove that. All right, and so we're going to talk about some important people and breakthroughs. All right. So the Ptolemaic system, this one's going to be probably the biggest one, is because it was probably the most controversial. All right, we talk about the universe. All right, so the geocentric model, remember geo means Earth, that it is going to be widely accepted. Earth's the center. Everybody knows it. The church teaches it, and they're the main source of knowledge at the time. The church teaches it. It's just been widely accepted. Now, a guy by the name of Nicolaus Copernicus comes about, and he mathematically is able to figure this out, that he believes that the sun, Helios, sun, I believe that might be Greek. I think I said it was Latin. I think it's Greek. I think geo is Greek, and I think Helios is Greek. Either way, that means sun, helio, sun-centric theory. All right, and so he published his finding. He said Earths and planets revolve around the sun. He believed it was in a circular orbit. All right, and it says here, he waited to publish his findings until he was on his deathbed. You may say, well, why did he do that? Why wouldn't he want the fame, the accolades? Why wouldn't he want to be known for what he found? Because it all goes back to, once again, sometimes we see church. I'm not against church. I go to church every Sunday. I'm not this, so I don't want anybody to think I'm attacking beliefs at this, anything like that. What I'm trying to do is just tell you what kind of power the church was wielding at the time. The church was very powerful, very corrupt, very powerful, very corrupt. All right, so they would punish anybody that spoke out against them. Right? Well, why? Well, because if you start going against the church, even if you're right, then people are going to start to say, well, what else is the church wrong about? They're going to start to lose influence. When they lose influence, they lose power. When they lose power, they lose money. All right, so they didn't want that to happen. All right, so Copernicus is going to be the first to kind of theorize this. Kepler is going to find out that he's going to use mathematics as well to say that the planets actually move in an elliptical fashion. But the guy that kind of puts it all together is going to be Galileo, because he's going to also make observations. Galileo goes by many names, father of many things. Some of the things he discovered. One, he discovered moons orbiting around Jupiter. You might say, why is that a big deal? Well, once again, the Ptolemaic theory says everything revolves around the Earth. Well, he's like, no, that ain't true. There's moons revolving around Jupiter. The sun has dark spots. Well, they said heavenly bodies were, and the same thing with the Earth's moon, they were made of pure orbs of light without blemish. All right, that's what the church had said, and so the church had backed this up, and he's like, no, there's dark spots on the moon. The sun has rough and uneven surfaces. So he's shooting holes through this theory using the telescope. So here's some of the passages. Once again, here's some of the passages that they said can never be moved. The earth can never be moved. The foundations of the earth can never be moved. So here is what the church had said. And so the Catholic Church took it very literal at the time. And so when Galileo's like, no, you're wrong, that would make them feel like the Bible is wrong. And Galileo is basically going against everything they believe in. And so this is going to become actually a huge problem. And you can see that they're going to order him to abandon his ideas. All right, once again, you threaten what they believe. Humans are no longer at the center of the universe. The church, people start to question what the church, what kind of power the church has, if they're lying to them the whole time, etc. So it's going to create a whole host of problems. We'll go through this in a little bit, but he's just talking about how dangerous it is to challenge the church's beliefs, and so they teach the absolute truth of the Bible, and basically Galileo get in line. And Galileo's a Catholic. I'm pretty sure he's Catholic, and he's like, no, I'm not even necessarily saying the Bible's wrong. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not even attacking Christianity. What I'm saying is just reinterpret scriptural truths. You took something as a statement that was made, and he's saying just don't take it so literally. It might have a different meaning, a more metaphorical meaning. And so he basically just said I disagree, and just said, hey, prove me wrong. If I'm wrong, prove it to me. And so Galileo is going to make these changes, and what's going to end up happening is that he is going to end up being put on trial, hold all of these these accusations against him, and he's going to say, no, like I'm not wrong on this. I have proof, I have observations, I have information that is correct. And then eventually what happens is, to avoid torture and eventual possible death, what he does is he recants. He recants and says, okay, yep, you're right. Yep, even though you have no proof, yeah, you nailed it, you're right. Has to recant to avoid those things, and his books get banned. He gets put under house arrest for the rest of his life. Once again, just showing the power that the church is wielding at that time. All right, that's how powerful the church was at that time. Isaac Newton's view of the universe. Isaac Newton's going to come around, and he's going to continue to build. Once again, you see all these guys building. Copernicus comes up with it. Kepler builds on it. Galileo kind of puts it, says, yeah, that makes sense too. And then Newton's able to put it all together with the universal, because he's able to, through using the universal law of gravitation, laws of motion, he is going to kind of put all of those ideas together in a way that kind of helps to complete the picture, basically. I'm not going to get too much into gravity and the science, but basically he viewed the universe as kind of as a machine, and the other people. This is where deism starts to come into it, where people view the universe as a set of rules and laws that God basically. It's kind of like a clock. You kind of wind it up, and then you set it into motion and let it go. It's the machine. You set the machine, you wind it up, make sure that it has energy, and then just let it go, and it's going to operate based on its mechanisms. And so Galileo or Newton's going to come along and put it all together. And so that was the biggest hot topic of the time, but there were so many other breakthroughs. Once again, it's a revolution. It's a radical change, not just in astronomy, but it's going to be a radical change, and I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. It's going to be a radical change in what they believe in about medicine. For centuries they believed that I think it was the liver. I don't think it says on here, but I think they believed that the liver was the beginning point of blood. There it is. Blood was generated in the liver. Where's William Harvey? There we go. William Harvey is the one that said, no, it's the heart. It's the heart is the center of the circulation of the blood. There's all sorts of scientific findings, just the way we view things, using logic and reason, the scientific method. We're going to talk about this in science class right now, if we haven't already. Just making sense of things, applying logic, verifying facts, making it so that it has to be true time and time again. Step-by-step repeatable process that is done based on inductive reasoning. Starting out with something and coming to a conclusion based on the proofs that you have, and then retesting and retesting and retesting. And so the whole process is going to change the way people think. Instead of making assumptions, it's freeing your mind from previous opinions that might distort the truth. Start with detailed facts, and then proceed to general principles, where it used to be kind of the other way around. These general principles lead to facts. Well, now he's saying, well, no, we need to have these detailed facts be proven and proven and proven, and then lead to general principles. All right, and so we'll talk about this in science. I'm not going to spend a ton talking about the scientific method, because you guys will get a double dose of it and you'll get sick of it. But once again, what I really want you guys to get out of this is that these scientists are not going to, it starts in astronomy, so that's why we talk about it the most, and it was the most controversial, but they're going to start to make drastic changes in their field, not accepting anything that they believe that was previously believed, but proving everything for themselves. And that same thing is going to be applied to society. It's going to be applied to government, culture, economics, to find a way to find the best